To SSPN. We are back. I know it has been a little minute, but once again, welcome to SSPN. Go Spurs, go. We appreciate you if you're here. Literally, I only said that just to put up the graphic. That's why I repeated myself. But we see that we already got 3 of y'all in here. So what's up, guys? This episode literally is just going to be us chilling, talking with y'all, because there's really not too much going on right now. There are some rumors kind of floating around that could potentially involve the Spurs, but it's like not guaranteed at all. So, I mean, there's the Jalen Smith, Thaddeus Young thing that's been going on for a while, but I mean, I'm not gonna like just bet on that happening because it seemed like it was gonna happen earlier and then it already didn't happen again. And I know that it seems like there's more hope with reports saying that he's available and Jalen Smith's also available. But at the same time, it's like, you can't always just trust these Instagram posts, Ethan.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if that one's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. I wish. Right.
I mean, yeah, I would 100% be behind that and get a guy like Jalen Smith, kind of fits our young identity right now, and dump Thaddeus's contract at the same time. Um, but I'm not mad if we keep Thaddeus Young. I mean, he could help our team for sure this season. We're not going to re-sign him clearly, and at least I don't think we will, because his contract is expiring. But like you said, not much concrete concrete news to go on at this point.
Yeah, definitely not, which is why we made this episode of Q&A. So y'all definitely feel free. Any questions about like anything Spurs, any opinions, anything like that y'all want us to do throughout this episode, please just literally ask us a question in the chat and we'll answer. Some other news, if you guys don't know, whether you're watching this live or you're rewatching this, definitely go follow and subscribe to SpursTube TV at SpursTube TV on Twitter. We're going to be plugging that a lot because we'll be involved in that. The channel's already got a little bit of growth. I was noticing that it has gone up since Rob has really started promoting it. And so definitely go check that out. And also, you might have noticed that we have a little bit of a new logo. But don't worry, you can buy both logos in merch. So that's the one thing that I wanted to say. And this is a big thing to Rob. Like, he literally made all of this happen, and like, appreciate him so much for this. And look, we're not asking you guys to do this, but if at any point you ever feel like, hey, you know what, I'd be down to cop some SSPN merch, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, I think that's what we have.
Yeah.
If you want to get the old one or the new one, feel free to do that. But also don't feel obligated to do that either. But we do have that option, and that's just pretty freaking cool to consider, Ethan, when, I mean, like, just the way that this offseason has gone for us. I mean, not to make it all about us, but it's just kind of surreal. It's surreal. I didn't think that we would have merch already, so that's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. It's fun to look at. I go on there all the time just to kind of look at our merch and stuff.
Yo, speaking of that website, we need my last name on the website is spelled like McLaren. There's like 2 extra E's in there. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I don't know who did it, but I mean, look, no, hey, I appreciate. I'm just glad I got a page on the website. I mean, I'm like, let's go. And thank you, Alexander. We appreciate it. We're trying to, we can't have ESPN on our tail too much. So, it's basically the same font, but it's not like the literal ESPN font. So, glad y'all like it.
Yeah.
Tried to put the little Fiesta colors in there on the outline of it. So, anyways, well, we don't really have any questions right now, Ethan. So, what are just your thoughts on like the Spurs since the last time we spoke?
I guess with some news that we haven't talked about that's official now is Bryn Forbes on the team. Officially. That's something that we haven't officially talked about yet on this channel. So welcome, Bryn, even though neither of us really wanted you on the team. Welcome to the team. We hope you make some contributions that we haven't been able to talk about.
It's going to be crazy when he's the starting 2 guard.
Yeah, it is going to get crazy when he's a starting 2 guard. It's going to be him, and then starting 4 is going to be Dougie McBuckets, and Luka's not going to get any minutes, and Devin Vassell is going to be in the G League.
Oh, pain. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we got our first question, Ethan. All right, what is your starting 5? You want to go first on this one, or you want me to roll with it?
I'll go first on this one.
Cool.
My starting 5. Okay, what I want or what I think's gonna happen?
Yes, confirm that. That's a good point, Mata. And Aaron, I appreciate you. I just turned up my gain a little bit, so hopefully that helps. But yeah, Desiree, what are you talking like what we want or what the Spurs will end up doing? Because those are two very different things.
I'm
Both.
gonna
Okay,
both.
both.
Okay.
There we go. All
All
right.
right. Well, so what I want is DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker. Or no. Wait.
Do you want Derek White off the bench?
I do want Derek White off the bench.
Okay.
So I think I'll do that. I'll do Lonnie Walker at the 2. I'll do Keldon at the 3, Luka at the 4, and Jakob at the 5. And then my bench unit would be Derek White backing up the point guard, Devin Vassell. I want my man Dougie McBuckets at the 3, Drew Eubanks, and Jock Landale.
Got you.
Now, what I think is going to happen, Spurs film room, he's gonna fix that for you, Jude. He's gonna get your name right.
Yes, we appreciate you, Rob.
What I think is going to happen is DeJounte, Derek, Keldon, Doug McDermott, and Jakob Pertl. Or no, Thaddeus Young. I forgot about Thaddeus Young, bro. I am not prepared for this question at all. Thaddeus Young at the starting 4, and then Luka back up 4, and then Drew Eubanks back up 5. I'm sorry, Jacques, you're gonna be 11th man. You're the odd man now. So that's what I want to happen.
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I kind of screwed up that answer. But
no, you're good. What was I going to say? So actually, mine are the same. I wasn't expecting that. I was just writing it down after Desiree asked the question, and I have the same thing for both. And I think it's going to be, this is what I want to happen, and this is actually what I think will happen. I think there's a slight chance Bryn Forbes starts. I know that sounds crazy, but like I genuinely believe that there's a possibility that could happen. But I think this is actually going to be the starting lineup. I just got DeJounte, Derek, Keldon, Thad, and Jakob.
Yeah.
That kind of seems like the I don't know. That seems like what's going to happen to me. What do you think?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Like I said, I could see them maybe moving Derek to the bench and just having Bryn as a shooter if they really wanted to go that route. But, we'll just have to see. But we got a quick question from Rob. How do you guys evaluate our big depth post free agency? That is a good question, Rob. That is a very good question because we signed a lot of bigs, but we also signed injured bigs. So, Ethan, what are you thinking?
How do I evaluate it? I think we have a lot of competition coming up this season because there's not really a clear-cut backup. I'm a huge fan of Drew Eubanks, but Jock Landale has a lot of upside coming over from Australia. You were really impressed with his tape. You think he has the potential to be our backup center and maybe moving forward our starting center. A lot of people don't have much faith in Jakob, even though I think he's definitely going to be our starter. So there's that. Maybe he'll have kind of a fall off a little bit. Maybe Drew Eubanks will continue to improve. Same with Jock Landale. And then we have the conundrum with the guy Zach Collins, a guy that was starting a lot for Portland. He's a 7-footer, I believe, or 6'11". He's got a lot of athleticism for a guy that big. He's not quite like a lumberer because usually guys that are 7 feet tall kind of barely move up and down the court. But he had some speed before his injury, so it's really going to come down to his injury. If he's healthy, I think he could be an immediate contributor, not like a star, but somebody that definitely gets minutes. And then that makes it interesting because do we give him minutes or do we give Luka Samanic minutes? Do we play him at the 4? Do we play him at the 5? Where's Jock Landale fit? So I think there's a lot of interesting questions with our big man depth. I don't think we have someone that's like really running away with like the starting spot or running away with the backup spot. So it'll be interesting how Pop and the coaching staff kind of handles the minutes there and kind of figure out who's going to be with the team moving forward.
I think that's the biggest question. I mean, when it comes to our depth, even when I'm looking at this, you may not say that, look, this is obviously not the best, big rotation of 4 and 5s in the league. There are probably some better ones that you could go out and find for sure. It might even be in the bottom half of the league. But still, when you compare our depth in the post this year, not even necessarily the post because we talked about how bigger players are, having more skills and playing on the perimeter more a lot on this show. But our positions, of traditional 4s and 5s when they're labeled, on the depth chart, it seems like we have a lot more of those guys that are proven NBA players than we did in comparison to last year's roster. Because I just wrote it all down. We have Jakob, we have Jock. I know Jock's not very proven, but still, just won an MVP in the NBL, played pretty solid against, the best of the best the NBA has to offer, except for some in the Olympics, and considers himself as somebody who can also play the 4 in the NBA. So that's something to watch with Jock as well. His versatility might be something that's not expected if you just look at his height. We've also got Zach Collins, then we've got Thad, we've still got Al-Farouq Aminu, then we've got Luka, and then also at the very bottom I put like a space in between. I threw Keldon down there just because there may be some situations where he ends up playing the 4. And like when we're playing the Rockets, I love playing Keldon at the 4. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't want to play him, like we've talked about against the Nuggets at the 4 or something. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have a lot of players at those positions as our big guys, but I think what I was trying to say, and I think what you echoed, was they're all good, but they're all around the same level.
There's no stars. They're just kind of a bunch of role players, to be honest. Other than, we have Luka Samanic, right, and he's still kind of a question mark. You could maybe say that there's a chance that Jock Landale could become something, Zach Collins too, but other than that, you're left with Al-Farouq Aminu, Thaddeus Young, and Jakob Poeltl. And to be honest with you, those are the guys who are probably going to play the most this year because Zach's going to be out for however long. Jock's going to take a little bit of adjust. I'd be very surprised if he gets immediate minutes on his first year in the NBA on the Spurs. And then there's Luka as well, so Luka will probably get some minutes. So that's probably going to be your rotation, barring Thaddeus Young or Al-Farouq Aminu getting moved because we have 17 people on the roster. But this year, probably the majority of it is going to be Jakob Poeltl, Thaddeus Young, Al-Farouq Aminu, and Luka Samanic as our bigs, which now that I'm looking at that, Rob, I will say that does give me a little bit of concern because we still have some size issues. If those are the guys, we only really have one true center at that. Thad can play the center, and he can play it better than some other guys that we had last year. Oh, I'm forgetting about Drew Eubanks.
Yeah, but to say you were forgetting Al-Farouq Aminu is not playing over Drew.
Yes, that's okay. That's actually a fact. That makes me feel a little bit better. So I can't believe I forgot Drew Eubanks. I literally have his signed poster right up here.
And Al-Farouq Aminu is not playing over Jacques, in my opinion, either. No, honestly.
No, I agree with that too. So that means I was mistaken. It will be Thaddeus Young, Jakob, Luka, and Drew. That's probably what I would expect for which that's a little bit better because Drew can play at least. Like even if when Drew gets beat, it's not because of effort. It's never because of effort with Drew, and I can live with that always. So let's see at some of these other questions that we got here though. So Alexander says, I think that Pop would play with different lineups to see what works, to see what the young guys can bring. I can see that very much, Alexander. What do you think, Ethan?
Especially if we're out of playoff picture, Pop's known to experiment. Even when we are in the playoff picture, he's been known to experiment and kind of get crazy with lineups. Year. Yeah, exactly. Like Keldon at the 4, he came in as a 2. All of a sudden, he's playing the 4.
Yeah, exactly.
He does crazy things like that. So, which kind of echoes what my man BMC just said. I know I'm skipping over Desiree. I'll come back to you in a second. But BMC thinks that Jacques will be at the starting 5 by the end of the season. I don't know if the starting 5, but I wouldn't be surprised one bit if he's getting consistent minutes off the bench. Like Jacques Landale has the experience from playing overseas. Clearly, the Spurs have a history with international players. And he's not like an ordinary guy that hasn't played in the NBA, Jude. Because like these international guys, they're already men. You know what I mean? And it seems to me like as the NBA has modernized the last few years, international players have adjusted quicker than college guys or guys coming out of the G League, if that makes sense, because they're already used to kind of that physicality. It's what Luka Doncic said a couple years ago when he came into the NBA. It was much less of a stretch than what he feared it would be when he came over to the NBA. And maybe I'm out of my mind here and comparing Jacques Landale's adjustment to Luka Doncic's adjustment, but you never know. You never know what could happen with a guy like Jacques Landale, very skilled big man coming to a team under Popovich. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I think that seriously, like Jacques Landale, there's a big kind of question mark with his ceiling too. Kind of similar with Luka. Like I said earlier, I kind of doubt that he plays early in this season. I doubt he plays for the first half at all. If he's good enough to play after that, then I think they'll kind of introduce him later in the season. He's just got to pay his dues with the Spurs culture. That's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
But I think that, there is some potential for maybe for him to flourish. But I think Zach Collins honestly has a higher ceiling than Jock. I love what I've seen from Jock, and I know that the foot injury is not a good sign, but when it comes to Zach, he's 23 years old. He played at Gonzaga. That's like it's just a Spur thing. Like he's basically Trey Lyles 2.0 is what he is, but
Yeah.
hopefully will work out a lot better. I feel like it's going to work out a lot better, but then again, I thought Trey Lyles was going to work out really good. So who knows?
Let's Spurs film room. Appreciate you, my man. Let's go back to Desiree's question. How many of the first 5 games do we win? Do you want to go through these one at a time, Jude, and just say like win or lose?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Magic, I think we can beat the Magic.
I think we can beat the Magic too.
That's 1 win. Nuggets, nope. We're 1-1. Bucks, nope. 1-2. Lakers, nope. 1-3. Mavs, nope. 1-4. So we're gonna be 1-4 to start the season.
They'll be look. There are some games in there that are gonna be close, and maybe we win like a couple of those games. But just right off rip, we're only better than one of those teams, talent wise. They just the other 4 have stars. You go Jokic, Giannis, LeBron, Luka. Like, what do you want me to?
Yeah, I could see us beating.
That's not
the Mavs.
anything against the Spurs. Yeah, that we could beat the Mavs. And look, we beat the Lakers early. We beat the Lakers and the Clippers back to back. So it's not like it can't be done. But just looking at that, I'm going with 1-4.
My thing with the Lakers, though, I know we beat them. Was it last year and the year before? Like the first game we played against them, both seasons. I think we beat them. But I think we had. Am I getting confused? We had LaMarcus last year at the beginning of the season, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So we had somebody that was at least close to Anthony Davis's size and skill. I mean, LaMarcus was clearly worse. Don't get me wrong. But this year, are we gonna put Jakob defending AD? In which case, who's gonna guard Dwight at the center spot? Who's gonna guard LeBron? Now they got Russell. Now they got Melo. Like they have so many weapons. Like
They have Malik Monk too.
They got Malik Monk.
Oh, and Paul Millsap's a net.
Yeah.
Probably LaMarcus will too.
Let's go pick up DeAndre Jordan's about to get bought out.
Right. Okay. Going back to BMC though. Okay. So what I was saying earlier, because what you're right, people do underestimate foreign players, and that's why Luka Doncic. A lot of people didn't. People are like bus, but they don't realize that he's playing in like. The Euro League that he was in is like a couple steps above college basketball. It's not just one. Like college basketball in the NBA, those leagues, you can even argue the Turkish league as well. So I definitely didn't mean to come off that way because, as Spurs fans, it's like freaking looking Manu in 2003. Like respect, you know what I'm saying? Like there are dudes out there that can beat, a Tim Duncan, Kobe-led team, right? That's crazy. But of course it would be Manu. But anyways, I think that Landale is a lot more aggressive than Lyles as well.
In the post especially.
Yeah, no, and driving to the rim, going for dunks. He has a lot more energy and juice just in general for sure. I'm just not sold that the idea of him playing sounds great, but the reality of it with just the way Pop works, I don't know, that doesn't seem I don't know. I would err that he doesn't play. Maybe he does, like you said, and maybe I'm proven wrong. But I think that it'll just take him a little bit to get some PT. But no, he was the MVP recently. But from my understanding, the NBL, and this is no hate to the NBL, but look, LaMelo went there and did great. RJ Hampton, his game didn't translate that much to the league, but a lot of these veteran Australian players are probably going to be a lot better than RJ Hampton. So that's probably another point too. But Obi-Wan Ginobili, yes, shout out to you, Eric. But anyways, just wanted to say that for sure because definitely foreign players are legit. Luka Doncic, number one example.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're trying to stay grounded here. Like Chuck Landale, for as much as we sing his praises, he's probably not going to play. Like let's just keep it.
I would love for him to play though. That would be great.
Yeah, he's got to really prove. He's got to prove to Pop that he's way better than Drew Eubanks because Drew Eubanks has earned that spot. Undrafted, G League, homegrown. He's a hard worker, a guy that
and
Spurs
Luka's
love.
even been here longer, and it's like
exactly
you invested a draft pick in him. So
Yeah. And
Watch
Zach Collins is getting
game
22 million.
game one. Thad Young doesn't even play. Jock starts at the 4.
Ooh, yeah.
and
Well,
and goes for what was I gonna say? It goes for like 3 and three goes for like 7 threes in a row to just start the game and is just sniping. And BMC is in the chat just like, Jude, I told you. No, but hey, BMC, bro, thank you for being here. This is the whole point of the show. You literally, it's just Q&A. Y'all make it. So please, all y'all, come in the chat. Tell us if I'm stupid or if you disagree, whatever. But let's see. What are some other Spurs topics going on right now? Like we said there's the Jalen Smith thing. I guess kind of with this whole, we've talked about this before, but since we're just on here again, why not? Is Trey Jones and all of that guard position. There's still a lot of logjam there. So are we expecting, despite his fantastic summer league performance, him to be probably in the G League for another year?
That's a great question, Jude.
What's up, Abdi? Thanks for showing up, bro.
Let
me look at our guards. Let me get this down.
My gut tells me that he's not going to be playing over Bryn Forbes.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
But I'm also not ready to say that he's going to be put back into the G League. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, that means he's probably just going to be riding the pine, kind of waiting for either Bryn to play really bad. He's 0 for 5, and Pop's like, okay, you're useless right now. Let's put someone else in and try and change it up a little bit. But that's where I stand. Not G League again, but unfortunately not getting consistent minutes.
Yeah, so when I'm looking at the guard logjam right now, so the problem is Derek White, Lonnie Walker, and DeJounte Murray are going to play. Yes. That leaves Josh Primo, Trey Jones, Bryn Forbes, and like Wieskamp. If you want to consider Wieskamp a guard. In that, or in Vassell too, but like that backup point. The only way that Trey Jones plays is if Bryn Forbes just signed to be a mentor for one season, which the jury is still not out on that. Although we don't believe that's going to happen. I know that Rob talked about that a while. So, hey, maybe Rob's seeing something we aren't, because if that's the case, that would probably make you and I super happy. But I know we got a lot of stuff going on in the chat here, so we're going to get to that. But Ethan, yes.
Or I just thought about this, and this is not what I want to happen, but I would 100% believe it if it actually happened. Luka just doesn't play. We move Dougie McBuckets to the 4, slide Bryn to the 2.
Too.
Yeah, and slide Bryn to the 2, and then Trey plays 1. So it's Trey, Bryn, Devin, McBuckets, and then Eubanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That wouldn't be far fetched either, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that too. I see some of y'all are talking, saying can't hear him. So, are some of y'all tell me if you guys can hear me? I just want to make sure. But I think we can. I think if Ethan can hear me, you guys should hear me. But going back up to Eric, Thad updates. So basically, all we know is that it seems like Thaddeus Young is still available for a trade. Have you seen anything else, Ethan?
No, I saw there were a couple teams that were interested, like the Suns. I think the Warriors were interested a little bit for a little while. Other than that, no, I haven't seen any concrete rumors like who we're giving up, who we're getting back. Really.
But it just looks like he's available in a trade. Yeah. So it seems like that's the best we got right there, Eric. That's all we've really seen. Alexander talking about Trey. I see Trey having maybe some games and some others in the G League. Who knows? Maybe he's on a 2-way again. I don't know. Maybe they. I doubt they would do that. I don't think so. But I could see that too. I could see that. I mean, maybe because think about it. In the world where the Spurs missed the playoffs and Pop's just messing around with lineups, I could see that happening to Trey Jones in that world, and we think that world's realistic. So, all right, glad you guys can hear me. Let's go back. Desiree Mata, who do you think will become our go-to? I think that this is a very good question, because that's the biggest question on the team. And I think it's obviously between DeJounte and Derek. What do you think?
I think it's going to be DeJounte.
I agree.
For 2 reasons. One, I think Derek being hurt all of last season kind of let DeJounte take that next step and say like this is my time to be the go-to scorer.
The
No
20
fault
point
of Derek's.
halves,
Yeah,
etc., where he was just walking defenders down and pulling up mid range. Everybody remember
yes,
that?
yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Not
We
Derek's
love that.
fault at
Yeah.
all, because it doesn't mean Derek is no longer a good player. It just means that he wasn't able to, play. It's not his fault. It's just the reality
Mm-hmm.
of the situation. And the second reason, I think DeJounte, um, as of right now, based on what I've seen, is a better shot creator off the dribble. And usually the best shot creator off the dribble is the guy that's the go-to scorer.
Yep. I agree with that. When it comes down, as much as Derek is a better shooter than DeJounte, when it comes down to getting a bucket and beating your man off the dribble, DeJounte is better at that than Derek White.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to just crossovers and that type of stuff, right? You
Yeah.
could maybe argue that Derek is stronger, and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be DeJounte. And, it's crazy. When he was the first guy to get that contract, and he was the guy that Kawhi was working out with, like, there was a time, the reason I got the DeJounte jersey was because, like, there was a time where I felt like DeJounte Murray was going to be the face of the franchise moving forward. And I think that the Spurs might think that still, which maybe that's a little crazy, but, because Derek's getting paid a little bit more than him. But I also think that that's indicative of the market as well. I think just because of Derek's shooting ability, he demanded a little bit more on the open market. So I don't think that necessarily that means that the Spurs think that Derek is better than DeJounte just because they pay him more. But I think that it's going to be DeJounte.
Yeah.
But we will have to see. The thing is, we've seen both of these dudes do that because we forget about the Denver series. I always forget about the Denver series. And that's really the one person on our roster with proven playoff, like, explosiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody else in the roster who's had a 30-point, even a 20-point game in the playoffs. Derek did it basically that whole series against a really good Nuggets team. So he had help, but
yeah,
there's flip sides. It's going to be very interesting with those. But all right, Trevor, does Lonnie make the leap this year? This is a very good question. We've been seeing Lonnie in the gym a little bit. If you've been seeing the run-in videos, I know they're not, the end-all be-all, but, I like a little bit of the jelly with whoever he was working out with. I know it was some other NBA guys in there. It wasn't Quindary and Bryn like freaking Luka.
Yeah.
Not a good look, boys.
Personally, I think Lonnie Walker's going to have a really good season this year. Really, like I think he's going to break out and kind of surpass our expectations, because there's no handicaps anymore. And it's weird to call Patty Mills and Rudy Gay a handicap, but for Lonnie Walker's game, they were coming off the bench. He's a guy that needs the ball in his hands. Unfortunately, Rudy and Patty needed the ball in their hands even more, and they're the veterans, so Pop was going to give them the reins, and that kind of relegated Lonnie to the corner, where he's going to knock down some jumpers, and that's just not his game. He's not a spot-up shooter. He's really not the best off-ball player. He's a guy that needs the ball in his hands to, come off screens, pull up mid-range, step-back threes. He's got all of that in his bag. So now that he has shooters around him, and I think that the ball is going to be in his hands permanently as our sixth man coming off the bench, I think that will allow him to explode and play make and really take off at that six-man position this season.
Yep. I see we got a comment there from Abdi. And yeah,
it's not good.
It's not very good. It's not very good. But going back to Lonnie, I think, that is what he's got to become. Pop compared him to Manu. I know that's like, God, what a terrible thing to do to a rookie. But like, now he's really in that role. Like, this is the year where it's really going to be him. So I don't think that, once again, not saying that Lonnie needs to be Manu Ginobili, but I think that he will become better this year. I think that you'll see less of those turnovers. I think that he'll just hold on to the ball, because a lot of the times it was him driving to the rim or making, a crazy dribble, and he just lost the ball out of his hand. So I think that just with another year under his belt, and another off season, another training camp, all that good stuff, I just think that that'll be cleaned up a little bit. And I don't think that that's like a crazy improvement or anything. I don't think that's blasphemous to say that. So I think he'll do that, which therefore will allow him to have, probably a lot better play. Because a lot of times we just see him do these amazing things, but then the ball slips out of his hands. Like, I can't count how many times that happened this year for Lonnie, and he would just look down and clap his hands, and it was like, wow, that was about to be like a crazy, super awesome layup or dunk or shot, but he just couldn't get there. So if he can just do that like 50% of those, he's going to have a great year. You know what I'm saying?
100%. And he's been working on defense a lot. I don't know if you saw his workout with Dwight Howard.
And he was already a good defender. Like, he was
never...
I felt like he was kind of underrated on defense. Maybe that sounds crazy. I'm sure he's taken some plays off, made some young player mistakes, but he's got the athleticism. He's got great length for being 6'4". So very versatile on the defensive end.
Overall, good season for Lonnie. Looking forward to it.
Yep, but once again, going back to Abdi, we talked about some of the injuries and also, maybe Jock taking a little bit of time to come in. We'll see what happens on that. But that's where the size concerns come in. And that kind of goes back to Rob's comment at the beginning of the show when it comes to that post depth. So it's like we have post depth, but because of injuries and other stuff, it's like our height is small though. So it just is what it is. I think really, like you said earlier, Ethan, I think the most interesting position battle to watch this year will be, well, I don't know. There's a lot of interesting position battles, but the most interesting position battle in the post will be Eubanks and Jock Landale, I think. I also think Luka battling it out with some other people, because who knows? I mean, if maybe they want to play Jock at the 4. I have no idea.
Or even Eubanks at the 4.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. We've seen, since we talked last, I've seen more videos of Eubanks shooting. Yes, I get it's just videos, but look, like, he is shooting more. He's talked about it on other shows with people from Spurs Tube TV, by the way, the At the Line pod. And so, like, this is a thing that he's talked about focusing on, and if he could play the 4, that would definitely help with our size. And I know we've said that multiple times on this show, but once again, just have to reiterate it, because if that's a possibility, that can totally change the game when it comes to lineups for SA. So
Desiree Mata had a question. Who was our best signing from free agency? Jude, you want to go ahead and answer that one?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. I think
it's a tough one.
Yeah. So let's just for everybody watching, to remind everybody. So let's list out our signings. We had Doug Mcdermott, so Dougie McBuckets, Zach Collins, Bryn Forbes, Jock Landale. Anything else?
Are we going to count the sign and trade guys?
Those aren't signings, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I think those are the 4 guys that we signed.
Yeah.
So I would probably say Doug McDermott. I like Zach Collins a lot, but I think that Doug McDermott I just think that he's going to come in and give us immediate shooting and a veteran presence that we need.
Yeah, I like Doug McDermott too because of what you said, but also he's not a guy that's 6'1", like a Bryn Forbes, who's actually 6'7" and long. While he's not a great defender, just being that length helps tremendously. 70%
of his minutes were at the 4 last year, and that's something that I may have gotten wrong about earlier. I said that the lineup would probably be DJ, Derek, Keldon, Thad, and Jakob. That could very well still be the case, but I think another option is just switch out Thad and Doug McDermott. In that lineup, I could see that as well. That actually might be the starting lineup. I'd do that.
I could see it. I'd
do that. I wouldn't do Thad. I changed my pick. I'll keep Thad in the what I think, but for what I want Doug McDermott's in the starting lineup at the 4.
You want Doug McDermott at the 4? That's where we disagree. I'd rather have Thad there. I'd rather have Thad there because as much as I like Doug McDermott,
it depends on the matchup. You're right. Because there are some teams where I'd rather play Thad Young. If we're playing the Rockets, like I said, we could play Keldon at the 4, but now I actually would rather like Doug. The small ball lineup, I like Doug at the 4 more. Let's keep Keldon at the 3. I forget about Doug McDermott. But, I think... wait, do you have any thoughts on that? Because we're about to talk about a very important topic.
No, I like keeping Keldon at the 3 if we can, and if we want to go small, Dougie's not the worst choice in the world. He's all right.
Has experience.
Yes.
But we do need more strength in the post. We don't want to
There
get
is that.
bullied.
There
Because
is
we
that.
saw how that happened.
Yes.
But look, man. It's September 2nd and Chandler Hutchinson is still a San Antonio Spur.
Oh, God. Chandler Hutchinson.
He's by far my favorite player. By far my favorite player.
I'm going to get you a Chandler Hutchinson jersey on Christmas.
Yes. No, that's exactly what I want. If he's still on the roster.
Shoot.
Oh, okay. I think this is a good way to maybe wrap this up. And I see, yes, Keldon can help in the post, for sure. We saw that last year. We also saw the downsides of that as well. And I was just about to transition to a question that was going to be great. Oh, here it is. What 2 players on the roster? Well, actually, Joe Wieskamp is already signed to a 2-way, so we only need to cut 1 player. That's who's left. Who is most likely? Who do you think will get cut? Just like the question earlier with lineups, who do you think will get cut, and who would you cut?
They're both the same. Al-Farouq Aminu.
I agree. I actually agree with that too, because Chandler Hutchinson has a lot more upside than Al-Farouq Aminu.
So. Way more, bro. Way more.
Yeah. I don't mind. Just it's like even if we eat it, like we still have like 20 million in cap.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. But anyways.
Like I question whether or not Al-Farouq Aminu will even get picked up if we cut him.
Yeah.
And it sucks because he used to be pretty decent, but he's just old. Yeah. He's just old now.
Like a couple years ago, he would have been a really versatile 3-4.
Yeah, he would have been nice.
He would have been a nice 3-and-D versatile.
He'd have been our Quincy Pondexter.
Yeah, exactly. Except way better than...
Yeah, way better than Quincy Pondexter.
Rip Quincy Pondexter.
Yeah. And the other guy. I can't remember his name.
Right.
There were 2 of them. They literally never played.
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, last call right here. Any questions y'all want to get in? Right now is the time, and we'll wrap this thing up in about 40 minutes or longer. If y'all keep giving us questions, we'll keep going. But
nothing about Harry Potter. I get that way too much.
Really? Oh, just because of your looks or what?
Yeah, apparently I just look like Daniel Radcliffe. I had a waitress tell me that like 2 days ago.
A little bit. I can see
the first. I don't think. I mean, kind of. I think it's because we both have like raggedy facial hair and glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I look
your
sickly.
Face shape is the same.
Yeah, kind of squarey.
Similar. Yeah. Not exactly the same, but similar.
It's not a bad person to get compared to.
No.
One time I got compared to.
Are you like a wizard legend?
Yeah, bro.
Yes.
Have you not read Harry Potter?
I've seen. So get this. I've seen every movie except for the last one. I saw part 1 and I didn't see part 2, and I just haven't had time in my life, bro. And it was amazing. I loved it. I just haven't had time to go back and watch it. I'm dead serious. I know it's so bad. Like I binge watched the entire series like one day in the summer in high school, and it was like we're too tired because we watched it all in one day. They're like, "Well, we'll just watch this one tomorrow." Never met back up. I'm 21 years old. 5 years later, still haven't watched it. I'm glad you got a kick out of that, Nick. I'm still wondering what's gonna happen, bro. Snape just like pushed Dumbledore. He just killed him. That's where I'm at.
That's the 6th one. You haven't watched 7 or 8?
Wait.
The one Dumbledore died was the Half-Blood. Spoiler alert for all of you people that haven't seen it.
This is old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2009, and it's a book, so you can't blame me.
What was I gonna say? I don't. Yeah, it was part 1 of the last movie.
Okay, well, Dumbledore died in 6.
So he dies at the end of 6.
Yeah, and 7 part 1 is like the after.
Oh no. Then I haven't seen part 1 or part 2.
Bro, you're in for a time of your life, bro. You're not.
I know. Okay. All right. Back to the chat though, because I see you, Trevor, and I'm glad you mentioned this before we end the show, because this is something that me and Ethan have talked about. So we were thinking about doing an SSPN vlog. And look, if y'all want to pull up to that game, we'd love to meet some of you guys, and we'll put you in the video and everything if we can go to a game this year. So yeah, if we do that, we will definitely let you guys know, and if y'all can make it, that'd be freaking cool.
That would be cool. Oh, excuse me.
Definitely.
Which game?
What game would be one that we would want to go see? Would we want to go watch the Clippers?
Kawhi won't be playing, so I doubt
Oh,
he's
that's
there.
right. Then there's no point to watch the Clippers. Never mind. We're not based in SA, but we're close to SA. The preseason schedule has been released. Yes, I think it has.
I think the whole season
Yeah,
has been released.
I believe so. Yes.
We have like the second hardest schedule in the NBA apparently, or like
Mhm.
definitely top 5. I don't know if it's second.
Yeah.
But I'd go see. I've seen a couple. I've seen Luka play. That was
Maybe like
fun.
the Pelicans.
Pelicans. I'd like to see Zion.
That would be a fun, and I feel like that'd be competitive too.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies would be a good game also. Go watch
Yeah.
Ja. That'd be fun. I'd want to
Kyle
go watch
Anderson.
some yeah, right, slow-mo. I'd love to watch some competitive games though. I mean, it would be cool to go see LeBron and all that, but I don't want to like watch us get demolished by the Lakers. You know.
Yeah.
But actually, I might end up going to the Lakers game this year because
you and Deshaun.
Deshaun's yeah. I'm sure he's gonna want to go, and we have to go to one of those together, just because it would just be hilarious. But, anyways, a DeMar return. Oh yeah, no. When the Bulls come, that would actually be a great game because Aaron, shout out to you. That sounds like the game that we might have to do for the vlog.
Yeah, that is fun.
Zach LaVine going at it with DeJounte too. Seattle versus Seattle.
Who doesn't want to see DeJounte and Zach LaVine going at it?
That would be fun.
Pause.
Yes. Good check hook there.
Yeah.
Good check hook. All right. Once again, guys, you can follow us on Twitter if you want to stay updated with everything. It's just our names, got the underscore for Ethan. And then also, don't forget to follow and subscribe to SpursTube TV. I know that we've been trying to post clips, being active and stuff, but we're back in school, so that's why it's kind of like, there's been a little bit less. But we're gonna get together like every week and still have a show at least once a week. And you'll be seeing us more on SpursTube TV once that happens. So once again, like, comment, subscribe, tell us your favorite Spur of all time in the comments. Thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it. We'll definitely do this probably again. This honestly might be the format for a little bit going forward, just because it's it's kind of the blank period of the off season.
And also, guys, in the comments, if we've gotten some old heads that are a little upset that we don't know maybe enough about Spurs history. So if you know a guy that's underrated, not Iceman, but someone around that era, 70s, 80s Spurs basketball that we wouldn't know, maybe a little underappreciated, put their name in the comment section. We'll try and do an episode kind of revolving around the history of the Spurs. We'll kind of do some research on some of these guys. So we're not only talking about, from like 1990 on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I talked to some other people. This will be my last thing. This will be my Jude rant of the episode. I talked to some people, okay? Because the last episode we had, and look, I respect everybody's opinion. You're entitled to, believe whatever you want in the world of basketball. I don't judge. It's a game. It's a perspective. Everybody sees it differently. All that jazz. But look, some of y'all were calling me crazy for saying that George Gervin was better than Manu and Tony. That man averaged 33 in the 80s. Manu and Tony aren't doing that. I talked to some other people that are Spurs fans too, and that also aren't Spurs fans. But I pulled some basketball people, that are basketball heads, and I guess it's just my friends, but they're telling me I'm not crazy. Y'all are making it seem like I was crazy out here, man. I'm like, dude, this dude is one of the greatest scorers of all time in the toughest time to score. So definitely George Gervin's in my top 3. That's no disrespect to Tony and Manu. Manu is my favorite player of all time. He's who got me into basketball. But objectively, George Gervin is better than him. That's no disrespect. That's just what it is. You can make an argument with Manu, though. If you want to bring in the Olympics and say, hey, Manu never smacked up an Olympic team like that, or George Gervin never smacked up an Olympics team, I'll respect that. I can respect that. But anything other than that, just the scoring ability and when he did it is just so impressive to me.
You're 100% right, dude. 100% right. I know one of those guys. There was a friend of mine from high school that was calling you crazy. And you're not crazy at all. You're 100% correct.
Hey,
this guy's a top 50 player all time.
Yes. We love Tony and Manu. I never want to do disrespect. Look, we're showcasing Manu in the back of the video every time. Y'all know what it is. Anyways, thanks, Spurs fam. We appreciate y'all for coming in, and we'll see you guys soon.